Jazz Chisholm Jr. He got traded to my team, the Yankees, in late July. Great news for us as we need him. Second baseman and center fielder. I'm very excited about that. I think a lot of Yankee fans are too. And he's coming from the Marlins. He's a 26-year-old guy. I was trying to think, where would he buy in New York? And I like to always see past baseball players or current baseball players where they've bought. And I see his teammate, Anthony Volpe, recently bought a condo of about $2 million in Manhattan area. So I imagine Jazz Chisholm Jr. will also be following suit. He's a little bit older than Anthony Volpe, but their contracts are relatively the same. It's not a whole lot of money that they got as a Major League Baseball players, but within the next year or two, they're going to be making a ton of money. So with that said, I feel that Jazz is going to buy a modest price point. And I want to share the screen of Anthony Volpe. All right, there we go. All right, Anthony Volpe bought a year ago, it appears. And he bought in a $2 million bachelor pad in Central Park West. So that's a really good area. 1,300 square foot home. I think it was a 2-bedroom, sub-zero appliances, building amenities, has a doorman, a living building manager, a live in-building manager, and a private fitness center. And it's a great unit. So I would imagine Jazz Chisholm would be doing the same thing. I think his contract was about $2.625 million for the first year at the Marlins. And I believe that kind of carries over with the Yankees. So it's a lot of money he's making, but it's nothing nearly as much as like Soto or all those guys or, Aaron Judge. But I want to show where exactly other ideas of where Jazz Chisholm might be buying in Manhattan if he decides to buy a property, because currently I don't think he has. But what do you think, Chris? While I pull that up, do you think he's going to follow the same footsteps as Anthony Volpe, considering they make relatively the same money, or you think he's going to go all out and spend a ton of money?
Wait. How much was that place for 1,300 square foot?
$2 million.
What are people doing?
What do you mean?
That's insanity.
It is insane. But
$2 million and you live in a box?
Yeah, but it's New York. All right, so here are all the options Jazz Chisholm has if he decides to buy a property in Manhattan by Central Park. Looks like everything's ranging from like 1.5 to 2 million. So I know it's a lot of money, like you said. Like, what is he thinking, Chris? But New York is New York. Like, look at this 2-bed, 2-bath, 1,200 square foot for 1.5 million. Is this something you could find yourself living in or no? Considering it's New York.
I mean, it does look pretty nice, I'm not gonna lie, but
it is nice.
I feel like as a baseball player and athlete, you're gonna be so cramped in that damn thing.
He's only 26 though.
Yeah, I mean, 26-year-old could sleep in a box. I know, I've been there. Yeah. But yeah, I just think go play for the Astros, go play for the Diamondbacks, go play for the Cardinals, go play for the Royals.
He came from the Diamondbacks initially before he was at the Marlins. But why do you say that, though? Is that because you have more square footage possibilities out there?
Like, he's making money right now.
Yeah.
He can get a little more, or actually a lot more space. Same bang, treat his body better, a lot more room for facilities in his own home. He can put ice baths and all kinds of things. He can have a backyard, a front yard. He can train better, just having a lot more space rather than being cramped up.
But you're not a Yankee, though, if you go out of there.
What's up?
I said, but you're not a Yankee. Look at this. This is listed by David Rosen. David Rosen, if you're watching, we're talking about your listing. He's on the Serhant team. Looks like it's 48 East 83rd Street, Unit 2R in New York, New York. And I know you were talking about, Chris, about more space if you go to Arizona or Texas. But look at the space you got here. Jazz Chisholm Jr. could buy this today. I think it was 1.75. Looks like you have a little backyard. Is this something you could see yourself doing, Chris, if you had to move to New York?
Is this private, and does it not count against the floor plan? The backyard?
It doesn't count as a floor plan, no. In terms of living square footage, I do not think, but we can ask the agent.
And is that private?
I think so. Let's look at the floor plan here.
I will say if that's private and it doesn't count against the floor plan, it's a solid deal.
I think this is a private backyard, I believe. Let's see if it might say. This is actually a really good unit,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Especially if the backyard is not counting against the floor plan, the square footage.
Okay, so it says right here about that unit. The highlight of the residence is the private garden, a rare and treasured feature in Manhattan. So it is a private garden, and it comes with whoever buys this has access to it. So I think it's a great deal then.
Click fact and features. I'm trying to see the square footage breakdown, interior, exterior. Yeah, I think that my decision would be based on those details. Is I think it's a great deal if the exterior is separate from the square footage that they provided. Then I would tell them right now, secure that thing. If not, I tell them, hey, did you get that contract signed in blood? Can you go to
I agree.
Can you go to the Braves? Can you go to Miami? Actually, not Miami. You're gonna have the same problem. My bad.
No, Miami, you got a lot of space. There's like different
Yeah.
neighborhoods more inland from the beach where you get some square
Uh-huh.
footage for sure. That unit we just saw with that backyard is amazing for New York. I'm so glad I came across it. If he ends up buying it, I think you and I should get like a little referral fee from the agent because we're promoting his listing. But I'm just joking. But
No, he
that'd
should
be
come on. He should
he
come
should
on.
come on. Yeah, we should bring him on.
Hey,
David
just lie to
Rosen.
him. Hey, lie to him and say you're
David Rosen.
Chisholm's agent, and just get him
Yeah,
on the podcast. And then
I
we'll be like,
know.
yeah,
I know. We should talk about
we
that.
kind of lied.
The actual location is by Central Park. Is there any cool restaurants around there? It's a candy shop.
It's in New York.
They have everything
They're gonna
here,
have
but
a cool restaurant somewhere.
yeah, I mean that's a good spot, man. You got the Central Park right there. How does the building look on the outside? Let's see.
I don't
Yeah,
get why. Look, I've never actually been in New York, right? So I definitely don't understand it
it's fucking
at
cool,
all.
dude.
So you think it's cool?
I
For
love it.
me, I find myself driving around downtown San Diego, and I'm like, it's too congested here. So I can only imagine what New York is like, right? But to me, it blows my mind when I see pictures of like cars parked on the street. I'm like, who's driving vehicles in New York? You're just going to set yourself up for
Yeah,
a heart attack at 50 years old. Like, what
I
are you
agree.
doing? Like, you're trying to find parking, like it's a Seinfeld episode. Like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah,
Hopping in
that's what-
a Uber. Have Uber completely overtaken the New York cab scene? These are questions I want to know. I have no idea.
we got to ask David. I don't really know. I see a lot of taxis still, but I do see Ubers, so I don't know how that works. But a lot of people take the subway, the actual people that live there. Um,
Mhm.
but the point is in New York is you walk. The point is to walk and be included in the city. And I think it's really cool in waves. Like I could definitely enjoy living there, but not long term. So it'd have to be like a short stint. As soon as the weather gets bad, you get out, and that's why everyone goes to like Florida, the snowbirds. So,
Mhm.
um, yeah, that's kind of my point and take on it. I don't know how Jazz is adapting to it, considering he had overall great weather in Miami. Besides the humidity, that's pretty terrible. But at least you get the sun and the ocean. And New York, you don't. So
It's interesting you said the point is you walk, right? Because we're thinking of New York. New York is like imagine being a caveman and stepping into New York City, right? And you see all these driving and all kinds of crazy stuff, right? And the caveman is used to walking, right?
right,
And you're like, hey, look here, we walk. It's like
right.
this advancement of civilization, but don't even drive a car around here, you know?
Yeah, yeah. The only downside with like I see you pointed out the positives is walking. The only downside is you're surrounded by a cement buildings. It's like a cement jungle, so it's not
Hmm.
really that healthy, I imagine. Unless you got like a rooftop or something, that's cool.
Yeah.
So
Would you ever live in New York City?
I'd like to say no, and I'm saying that because if Melissa ever wants to move there and it's a good situation for her, then I don't know. But I prefer not to. No, the answer is no. I'd like it out here more. It'd have to be
It's
West
never
Coast or Miami, Florida. I
It's
mean,
never New York has never appealed to me. California did when I was younger, and that's why I eventually moved out there whenever I was 19 or 18. But California appealed to me when I was younger. But New York, it never had that appeal to me. I never thought like, I guess I can understand why some people are drawn to New York. They feel maybe more safe in numbers. I mean, that is the history of humanity. We survived because we grouped up into these small villages, and it was
Hmm.
safer. We could protect ourselves against the wolves. And so some people have this natural instinct to, I'm surrounded by people. I remember my one of my friends. He told me in LA. He said, "What I like about this city is it could swallow you up, and no one would even know about it."
Right.
And when he said that to me, I didn't agree. I didn't feel that way. I didn't feel like I would want that. I don't want to work in a large corporation where I'm just a number. To me, that's not appealing. I would rather um, make a difference in a smaller way in the people around me than be surrounded by so many people that I'm insignificant. I don't find comfort in that, and some people do, and that's absolutely a lot of people do actually. Totally fine. For me, I, I don't like it taking 30 minutes to go to the grocery store to get there one
Yeah.
way.
I'm right there with you. I don't like the congestion of an area. It's not great. It's probably not great for your health, but I could see why people feel maybe secure with a group of
Hmm.
people surrounding them. But at the same time, have you ever heard of mob mentality and how
Hmm.
stupid people can react when something happens? So, when people are in a mob, the whole logical side, rationality can go out the window. So I definitely agree with that. I do not like being around a ton of people, ton of cars. So that's kind of why I prefer not to like
Yeah,
move to New York, I guess.
but you
But
are
I
in
am a
LA,
Yankee fan. I am a Yankee fan, dude.
so I want to go
Wait,
back to
wait.
what you said earlier.
You pointed
You
something
said,
out about LA. LA is congested and it is bad, but it's not like New York. You look up, you see the sky. You can go into neighborhoods and have a bunch of greenery around you and not see buildings. That's what's cool about LA. It's way different than like Manhattan, New York. You can actually
okay, I
breathe
wanted to
here
point out
and
something you
relax.
said earlier too. You said my team, the Yankees, singular, my team.
Teams, Yankees and
You didn't
Angels,
say my
plural.
teams because that would have sounded dumb. You said
Yeah,
my team. What about the
team.
Angels?
Angels, yes, Angels are still there, but they're not great.